The Oarsman Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Oarsman Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. All four of us are back tonight on this lovely Monday night, and what a week it has been for a Newcastle United fan. Besty's here, Deka's here, Mark's here, and I'm here, Kris. Deka, it's been a couple of weeks since you've been here.
I missed 3 weeks in a row.
3 weeks in a row, yeah, because we didn't do one the first week.
That's
then you've
right,
been away for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I'm back though.
Are you just back because we've won?
Yes, I'm going away next week. I'm not here next week. I'm going to Rome next week, so I'm going again. So I just came back because we won.
Deka, well, what do you
yes.
What do you have to say?
We won, you know. Get
Get
in
in.
the lads.
What a week can do in the world of football, Mark.
I don't know why everybody was panicking.
Well, can I just sorry to interrupt you, but obviously I was away, so I did kind of tune in to watch the beginning. And thanks for slagging us off. I love you all.
What more would
it was brilliant.
You wouldn't expect any.
I was
less,
actually
would
having
you?
a Guinness at the time as well, you know, and you were going Guinness nonsense, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
we've just had to sit. This is what the listeners and watchers don't know. We've just had to sit and listen for the last 15 minutes. You talking about the Guinness factory, how to pour a pint, how you should look at your glass before you pick it up, where the glass should be placed on the bar,
On the table, yeah.
whether it's on the mat, whether it's on the bar itself, how you should drink it, whether you should have a sip or a big gulp, what your shit should look like after you've had a drink of it.
like tar. But no, I agree. It's a lot. There's a lot of digest there. I get that.
Literally.
literally.
Bum-bum.
What was I going to say? All right. So it was quite negative, that one. Like, well, not negative, so I take that back a little bit. But
Yeah.
obviously, you were leading the questions. I know you don't think. that you
Whoa,
just,
whoa!
you know.
What you mean was Kris was very
No,
negative.
I wasn't being
You were
negative.
just
I
lean-
was just trying to
Yes.
portray what
Get Eddie Howe
the
sacked.
fan base had been saying through the week.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Because there's no point us all sitting here and being, oh, everything's rosy, blah, blah, blah. You need some sort of debate
tonight.
at the end of the day. I know, tonight's fucking the best. Absolute best tonight. But yeah, I felt last week there were certain questions that need to be answered, not necessarily from ourselves, but
Because I went treating with the kids, and Butch, you'll be watching. Love you, mate. He was saying like, Kris is a bit negative. Then I went, no. I said that's not necessarily Chris's opinion. Chris will just be saying what he's saying on social media and just kind of get the conversation going and stuff. I went, I don't think he's sitting there banging a drum of how out, like, you know what I mean?
No, he was.
He was.
He
He had the
wrote a
banner
letter
on
to
and
the
that.
club. Wrote a letter to the club demanding how to be sacked.
So sorry, I
I had a banner prepared and everything to put down the training ground the next day. I was all ready to go. But no, like I said, Mark, what a difference a week can make. And I know, obviously, you've always, since what we've been asking the question in regards to Eddie Howe and the performance in Newcastle, say, that's fine, it's so early on in the season. But what happened midweek with the result against Chelsea in the Cup, then obviously what happened at the weekend against Arsenal, I think that's been quite pivotal in regards to the fan base as a whole, and not just the fan base, the club and the team as well.
I don't know. Like a week in football is a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's results that are the big driver, and people are just very, very reactionary to those results, and sometimes just need to take a step back and look at it. And I get at times we haven't played brilliantly, we haven't won games, we've won games when we haven't played well and stuff like that. So it swings and roundabouts when you go through it. But I think going into this week, it probably was a bit of a pivotal moment, because there was more and more voices getting louder around kind of how, and, you know, an unhappiness behind the scenes and stuff like that. So it is going to, you know, start affecting people. And you've seen it in the media as well with little bits and pieces that were going. But yeah, look, here we are 7 days later, 2 fantastic wins. And, you know, everybody suddenly turned around, and Newcastle's yet again the greatest thing since sliced bread.
It is. It always has been. But do you not think, though, that Besty, those questions which were being asked to Eddie Howe from the fan base, from the outside, as in something's not working, the formation isn't working, the clientele playing in this formation isn't working, that's kind of not necessarily forced his hand, but it's had to play some sort of input into the decision to change things on the left-hand side. Obviously, Bruno was dropped midweek. Denali came in. Longstaff was brought back into the midfield three. Gordon on the right-hand side. There has been changes.
There have been changes, but I don't expect that Howe would give too much.
You seen he's not listening to us last week?
I hope he's not. Christ, he knows more.
Well, as long as he was listening to me and you and not him.
Eddie Howe knows more than we do about what the players are like. He sees them in trees. He's a tactician, all that. Like, so, yeah, I would hope that whatever's been said. I don't expect that I don't think he dropped Bruno last week. I think it was rested more than dropped. I don't think it was.
It's the same thing, man.
It's like,
He's starting with that negativity already.
Same thing.
Does that mean Tenali was dropped on Saturday?
Yeah, he's dropped. For Bruno, I think we're going to see this for the rest of the season.
I think it does seem that it works better with one or the other. There, when I play it together, I think and this isn't going on very well with everybody. I think you lose something when Longstaff's not there. That I don't think.
Longstaff klaxon.
What's this? Is that new?
It's definitely new.
I'm going to get it. I don't know.
I'm going to get on that.
Yeah. I think the balance, they are more balanced with Sean Longstaff there. I also think there's an argument to be made that instead of just playing Joe Linton in that three, you played what happened, I think, both games, Joe Linton and Willock, and they like dovetail a bit because they've worked well together since we hit that good run of form the season that they stayed up. Yeah. You know, the Eddie Howe's first, the takeover season, what do you want to call it? And we sang Gordon last season, and he was, I mean, in fairness, Gordon's wonderful. Like, so he was undroppable last season, but now we're looking at far more strong. We've got far more better players that can play on the left-hand side of that forward line than we'll have on the right. What was talking about is your strongest team Barnes left, Gordon right, or do you play one? Do you do this? Basically, the answer doesn't appear to be Miggy or Murphy with anybody. And on Saturday they played. It was Joe Linton. Joe Linton and Bullock both kind of did the bit on the left-hand side of that three. Gordon was on the right, and it was just hugely successful. I mean, how well Lewis Hall played with Joe Linton and Willock, how well Tino was with Gordon in front of him. It worked perfectly on Saturday. So I don't think that the likes of gobshites like us and our Taylor's crew and
not don't mean just
faith and all that
don't just mean podcast.
Oh, no, but you know we are the voice of the fans, Chris.
I think results have forced changes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it is. I could be wrong here. I didn't research it, but it was something like 1 in 5 games, right, or something. One in a while.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, and I would be sitting here asking questions if he's trotting out Murphy still every week, and you know, which I did anyway when we were winning, probably. But like, if you're losing game after game here, and you've got Murphy sitting right wing still, there's a problem here. Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Same in the midfield as well.
Yeah, the midfield has been a mess. We've been getting run through by teams, and this is where I'm going to absolutely own something here. I have been wrong about Sean Longstaff. No question about it.
Don't worry, Deka. You're not the only one in that boat.
I've sat for a long time. I'm still not going to. I'm not as far to go. Does every team need a Sean Longstaff? I'm not one of them, by the way.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a Geordie in the middle.
But I would say that even it is like everyone used to bang the drum of like, oh, when he's not in, we're not winning games and we've got a better record with him in the team. Still was like, it's just coincidence. Yeah. It's not. But I'm wrong. No, I am absolutely wrong because when he is on that field, I still think there's moments in the game where, of course, technically he's not what you want, right? But off the ball, the way he's drilled, in regards to as a team, we're so much better when he's on the field. And I'll take everything back.
Mark said at the start, a week's-long time in football. We've got a hard game at the weekend against Forest away. Get turned over there and we're back to where we were this time last week.
I totally agree with Mark there, absolutely, because two games, like you win a couple, everyone's thinking it's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You lose a couple, you're the worst.
Yeah.
It's very fickle. It's very, very quick. But I think I agreed with you last week. Not Chris, but joking. I agree with this that just pump the brakes a bit, you know what I mean? Yeah, it isn't great that we're sitting where we were at the time when you recorded that one, but we've chatted so many times about how haven't we that even when things are going wrong, we have to just trust that and let's be fair, right? I don't want to be negative here, but the transfer window hasn't exactly been kind of him coming into this season. It hasn't, has it?
No, it's
and we're almost rolling again with what we've got, and it is going to be difficult at times. It is given we've still got Jacob Murphy having to start games and stuff like that, it's gonna be difficult. But yet again,
but have a dig at him.
I know I can't. Sorry, I can't help it. I can't help it.
Q Jacob Murphy starting on Saturday and scoring a hat trick.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
True that though, that is, if Gordon scores a penalty at Goodison, we start when a 3 o'clock kickoff start on Saturday, we will be 5th on the table, joint points with 4th, just goal difference, and that's how tight it is. That's
some fine margin
because we're 12th at the start of play on Saturday. I think 13th maybe. Like the toys are out the pram, and you think I saw someone say the league table doesn't lie last week. I might even have mentioned it in the podcast last week. Yeah. The league table after 8 or 9 games, it doesn't lie, but it doesn't tell you anything either.
Yeah, it's not said.
Apart from who's had a really good start of the season and who. And I was looking at something a couple of years ago. It was this load of tweets from there was like when football sports teams have put these tweets out that have been funny and whatever. And it was a Southampton one. I forget exactly what the context was now. Or Stop the Count, because it was an election thing, Stop the Count. And they were top of the league. We were, I think, 11th at that point. And that was the season we finished 4th. So the start, and that was like this point of the season, maybe slightly. The league table means nothing at this point. We are 8th, I think now, 7th or 8th.
No,
10th.
10th.
I went on 10th. I went for the results.
We dropped down
because of Bournemouth getting the result.
However, we're only 3 points off
Bournemouth.
4th.
We are. But we'll play 4th on Saturday, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, for us. I mean,
and that's it. That's the irony of this football season. You've got Nottingham Forest, who were many people's relegation favourites not too long ago, sitting, in the top 4.
Pump West Ham again. That was a great result.
It's just it's been one of those seasons where it's very, very hard to predict which way games are going to go because people are beating, everybody left, right, and centre. Who would have looked at the games at the weekend and think, we would beat Arsenal comfortably, although the scoreline didn't say comfortably. We did beat them comfortably. Man City go and get beat. Liverpool were losing until it
should have been outside Brighton, to be honest.
Exactly. So there's been a lot of funny results this season, and that's.
And I think Eddie Howe said himself in one of the interviews, post-match interviews for TNT Sports, he said he's never known a Premier League season like this, where everybody's so close together in regards to not challenge for something, but the competitiveness in the Premier League is ridiculous. Yeah, because anybody can beat anybody on the day.
Well, you used to always have those mini leagues within the league, didn't you? And we quite often would be in that bottom league and fighting around there. So
I
think it'll still get to a point where as the season progresses, you'll start to see those splits. But we all know from being in and around that for many, many years how tight it can be down the bottom up until those 11th, 12th positions because there's nothing in it. And then you've got that next little group, and then your top 4 are the ones that were kind of vying against each other. So you had three leagues in one. It's a hell of a, as I've just said there, we're sitting, just above mid-table, but 3 points off 4th. That's how tight it is at the minute.
Arsenal dropped down to 7th at full time on Saturday, and we could have done, I think, the results.
Was 3 points away.
It is really, it is true, because we all said that you would expect Chelsea would have improved, given the mess that they were in. There was a few other teams because people used to say, "Oh, you finished 4th because other teams have faltered."
Yeah,
remember when we did that? So of course, them teams.
We said the same about Villa last year as well.
So there'll always be a team that'll punch above the weight. Villa did it. We've done it. Villa are continuing, to be fair, to do that.
The Forest are doing it so far.
The Forest are doing it this year. So you've got like a top 10 where, I mean, other than maybe the top 1, you might hang your hat on. It's quite difficult to really sort of maybe the top 3 outside the top 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It could be anything. Really, it could be anything.
Even the top 3, Deka, these days, it normally goes for a little bit for 3, then all of a sudden one of those just drops completely. Then it always ends up in a 2-horse race these days, doesn't it?
Generally speaking, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, last couple of years, Arsenal have had a bit of a rough one. Liverpool are looking really good. Man City have had a tough result, a lot of injuries. But then, like you said, Deka, you've got like Brighton, Villa, I think we'll be in thereabouts. Tottenham have had a bit of a funny one as well. Chelsea look really good.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's really tough.
You don't know what's going to happen with Man U as well. Man U appointing a new manager as well, though.
Yeah,
like they could turn things around.
Yeah, Man United again.
They've got a poor start, but they're still only 3 points off us. I think. Did they win at the weekend? Or did they draw?
Yeah, draw.
The draw was 1-1.
Yeah, they were Chelsea. Yeah.
Took the lead, then Chelsea equalised a couple of minutes afterwards.
Yeah, they did.
Going back to our game though, Deka, we need to mention Lewis Hall.
Class. Absolutely class, and
what a performance.
Yeah, he was brilliant, and it's obviously I've been a fan of him for a while, but I'll also say that there's a lot of games where I watched him, or moments in games where I was a bit, oh Jesus, but again, he's a young lad. He's very young, you know what I mean, and there's even in the games he played poor, there was moments in there where you knew there was definitely a player in there, but he was maybe getting caught in possession or whatever it may be. However, the last handful of games, every time I'm going on social media, it seems to be people are calling him out saying he's player of the match today, he's best player on the pitch. Yeah. And it's great. And again, consistency and given a run of games will bring that. You know what I mean? Rather than 1 minute playing Kelly there and then dropping him and then playing Hall there. You can't get any consistency then.
Do you think it helps I'm saying the new formation, it's not really new formation, but the people in front of him now, the last 2 games, you've had Joe Linton and Willock being quite versatile in that position. That protects him quite a bit as well, especially Joe Linton being there. Because Joe Linton grafted his arse off against Arsenal.
He was amazing.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah. He looked tremendous on the left-hand side, I have to say. Like, it's a funny one. You think how good Gordon was, right? If I just think back at the beginning, I would have never expected Joe Linton to be out there, really, unless, desperately needed him because of injury. And he's starting against Arsenal and played amazing in that position. And I'm thinking, that's Gordon's, in my eyes, it's Gordon's position. It's just weird as how football works.
I was looking at something, it was on Twitter or a review of the match or something. So can you imagine being a right back? And Joe Linton's not built like a winger, is he? He's not like Andy Gordon's like a slip of a lad and all that. That's all, but Joe Linton's just like, he's an athlete. He's an absolute brute of a man. And being a winger, one of my favourite pictures, I mention this all the time, the picture of Shearer Ferguson shaking hands.
I think best ever. Best ever.
Joe Linton's like that.
But a winger.
But Joe Linton thinking, God, I'm going to get hurt today.
Yeah.
He caused loads of bother. It was the best he's played all season, I think.
There was a few things in the game which I noticed. To be fair, I watched it again a little bit, some analysis later on, was of Tino's link up with Gordon on the right-hand side. And the team kind of used to do what we did with Burn, where we'd shuffle across and become a back three.
Yeah.
And I also thought the person who was really, really important throughout the game was Willock. On and off the ball. He was pressing a lot. Every time Rice got the ball, he was Willock. That was the one that, no, not just Willock, but there was so many good performances, but it was the tactics of how we're set up really, really worked. But again, to go back to the original question, Hall's been brilliant, and it's so nice to see him getting a run of games, and hopefully that he can continue that. And what I will say though as well, if bad performances start to come, again, just pump the brakes, man. You know what I mean? Like, he might do a mistake. It doesn't mean he's not going to play there anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just relax.
Well, him and Tino.
Yeah,
Tino was excellent on Saturday. I thought
he was brilliant.
But that's what you want. You want them getting as many minutes, as many games under the belt as they can at this age, because it's development and all that, and the confidence and just the kind of comfort that they'll have in it. And we were saying like a year ago, this could be England's full-back partnership. And it still could be, I mean, Reece James has had a lot of injuries. Kyle Walker's like 100 now. Trippier's about the same.
Shaw can't stay fit.
Shaw can't stay fit. So, I mean, not now, but maybe by the end of the season, you could see them both in the.
Well, he's asked that question after the game. When he's getting interviewed, he does get asked that question. Hall. Hall. Lewis Hall was asked about the likes of the England setup, and Hall says that he would be lying if he says that he hasn't noticed that England don't have that starting left back. And that's the end goal at the end of the day. Of course it is for him. Yeah.
And that's what we want. As much as international duty, you didn't want anyone to play because you didn't want injuries.
Yeah.
But I've always said that in order for us to be successful, you want your players playing internationally.
Yeah.
Because then they're saying, "Oh, great, I'm playing for my country. I'm starting. I'm playing for my club. Happy days."
There was only a handful of months where Tino got the call up, and there was an interview when Tino was away with the England camp, and they asked about his positions, and he says, yes, right back. And he says, but if I'm asked to do a job, I can do it at left back as well. So you've got 2 Newcastle United players that Besty said could be the future of England win backs, Mark. And it's phenomenal that.
When you look at it, there's, we all know that left back position it in the England squad is available because there's nobody really as a standout. You're relying on Shaw, as you say, who can't stay fit, and it's just been the stopgaps going into there. For a very long time. Trippier's played at least 2.
Young's done a couple of.
Well, Trippier played 2 tournaments at left back, with a 1 tournament gap in the middle of it. So
it's mad that a country can't create a left back. I know, isn't it mad? That 2 tournaments.
You've got to go back a decent time to think of when we had a.
Well, Chilwell used to be
one that comes in my head, but we must have had one ahead of us.
Chilwell, but he's just injured a lot. So that's very good.
But
Danny Rosen.
I can see him. I don't think it'll come that soon because he's still got a lot to learn. As we say, he is still very young. There's moments where he gets a bit excited and goes off wandering off into midfield, and it can then leave a little bit of gaps in there, which is where I think, as you were just mentioning, Joe Linton does help him out a hell of a lot. We saw the same, obviously, when Dan Burn had a good length of time at left back with Joe Linton in front of him. It was that kind of we're European season where we were qualified that those two were down the left for probably 80% of that season and were very, very good. But yeah, I mean, Hall was outstanding. Tino, as you say, was brilliant. We're very, very lucky that we've got this potential to have, because when you look at how young they are, they could play in that position for the next 10 years comfortably, if not longer. And we're getting them at this period of time in their careers and looking to develop and take them forward. It could be wonderful for both us and England to be able to do that and have it. You know, you've got to go back to the Nevilles as your two kind of fullbacks from the same team and into the international levels to do something like that. So
and even Phil Neville was never really
choice, was he? And that's probably about the time where we had a good abundance of left backs to choose from around that. Cole,
Stuart Pearce was just retiring.
Lasso was around him out there and stuff. So it's good, but I think Tino, it's good that you mentioned him, because at times he was getting doubled up on because of Arsenal, because he had Gordon in front of him, who probably isn't as generous as Joe Linton is of getting back and helping cover out. And because it's more he's wanting to be on the attacking foot and get forward. So when they were kind of attacking, Gordon was kind of drifting inside so that he was ready for the break. So quite often, particularly in the second half, when we were a little bit under pressure for them, I say a little bit because they were forcing me, but they never really troubled.
They had a lot of the ball, but never tested.
Not
once. Didn't make a save.
We didn't.
No, that's right.
Didn't have a shot on target. There was one scramble in the first half in the box where it was blocked by, again, Hall. I think it was.
Do you know what, just to mention that, because that hasn't been given enough credit as what it deserves, because you would see that ball get hit off a player's hand or something like that, but Hall's very clever to keep his arms tucked in and just turns his back.
Get his way in.
Is that Marino's shot?
Marino, isn't it? Yeah. Snaps out, he just turns his back and blocks it.
I seen a few people. It was funny, actually. I was talking to someone after the game, not on the day, but the day after. I was like, well, Arsenal had loads of the ball in the second. I was like, hang on, whoa. You're going up against, one of the best teams in the country, man. So what if they've got some of the ball? I don't really care. Like, we were, to the man, we were superb on Saturday. Everyone did the job. The commitment was there. Tactics was spot on. We limited them to hardly anything. I will say Rice has to score at the end. He has to score.
That's when we knew we won it.
But other than that one chance in 90 minutes of football here against one of the best teams in the country, happy days. Like
that was the biggest chance that they had.
Even the Rice thing, I think he should do better. But I think he's unsighted by Burn, and I think he's Jesus in the middle going for the header. I don't think he sees it quite late, so he doesn't quite react as well as he might.
Maybe not.
But I saw a thing. Arsenal's last two trips to St James's Park, no shot on target.
Yeah, that's right.
A year ago today as well, since the Gordon goal one.
And I have to say, sorry. So was it the out of play nonsense last year?
Yes.
Yeah. So I honestly did think that these would be well up for it because of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I thought Arteta would have been kicking right off.
Well, he was still talking about it.
He was
pre-match,
and like they were just crap, weren't they? Like
I didn't really have anything.
Nothing.
I don't remember a time where I felt like they were really on top. No. Had a couple of chances towards the end, but like there was one where Havertz went through. Burn didn't quite get to fight the ball. Havertz and he just bounces off Nick Pope. It was Nick Pope doesn't even flinch.
That was naughty from him as well, because that ball was no by Havertz. It was nowhere near for him.
I think he's still got every right to try and get the ball made.
Pope's like a stat.
He's left one in on Pope there on purpose.
You know that ball in New York where everyone pats the bollocks? Nick Pope was like that. I was like, you're not getting past me, mate.
Well, normally in that sort of situation, you'll see the goalkeeper lie down and just have a bit of a chill. Nick Pope was straight back. Was he going to crack on?
Wait, he did do that a bit later on.
So you got booked in.
Only hamstring. Oh no, that was another one by the trainers.
Oh yeah, when you sat down.
Something I want to say about Hall is Livermento, and it's totally like it's just window dressing. Is two fullbacks with ages on the backs of their shirts as well. I'm assuming.
All right, okay. Do you reckon it's just going to keep going up as well?
Also, because Lewis Hall's number 22, and number 21.
Like a kid on a birthday where you get your name on the back of your shirt.
My kids, I get mine every year. The last time I think that happened was
I've never noticed that until you've just mentioned it.
Albert got number 27 because he signed his 27th birthday.
Who's he?
Yeah, apparently some bloke something from him. But because Tino and Hall, they've had those numbers for a couple of years, but now it's that little sweet spot. It's nice. I like that.
But they are brilliant.
They don't go your age to the mark.
Besty facts. Need three numbers for his.
So, because we mentioned Joe Linton on the left-hand side, I'll stay with you, Besty. Right? So, Big Joe's got that left-hand side. which we mentioned how much he'll cover at left back. And obviously, if Joe Willock's pushing up, he can then slot back into that midfield 3 as well.
Yes.
So you've got that. So if that's our left hand side sorted, is that Gordon on the right now?
Yeah,
100%. Because I'm with you. Because even though Gordon will come out and say left hand side is where I want to play, that's my best position. If you've got Joe Linton doing that on the left hand side, Gordon starts on the right and delivering that sort of ball, which was saw him do at the weekend.
I'll talk for the full hour about this.
It was unbelievable, man.
I think you look at what Joe Linton and Joe Willock offer on the left hand side. Maybe they don't quite take turns, but the officer Willock's so quick and he's control. He's so good in the ball. He's control. He saw the ball. Actually, Joe Linton plays him through towards the end of the game, and he gets in front of Saliba, puts his top over the top, about an hour in maybe, but like. He shouldn't be getting that. And Saliba's not as slow as he's really quick. Joe Willock does brilliantly get in front of him. Should do better with the shot, but still, he does that from that position. And you've got sometimes Joe Linton does it where he hasn't got the pace necessarily, but he's just terrifying. You know what I mean? So I think having those two, you've basically got 2 wingers and 2 centre midfielders, and they can both do both. It's like Gordon and Barnes offer something different. These two both offer something different again, but they're on the pitch at the same time. It's got to be hard to defend that. If they do a little 1-2 and a halfway line. One of them gets up the line, who do you mark? Unbelievable, man. But that ball by Anthony Gordon, by the way.
Incredible.
It was like a goal. That's like watching when I was a kid. I had a VHS of the official history. Newcastle came out like 89, 98. And that's every single goal.
Yeah, that's all of our goals.
That's never been like a...
Mickey Quinn scored one of them every week.
Les Ferdinand scored a few. Tino against Barca.
That is exactly what it reminded. I know he wasn't running and... But the ball in... The way he gets up and headers it just reminded me of that.
It's the perfect cross. He could probably do it 100 times and never get one as good as that again.
It doesn't take a touch either, which I find incredible.
I'll tell you why it doesn't take a touch, because of the quality of the ball to him by Sean Longstaff's just so. But
it was you know, it was like I thought it was like an old classic goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it even starts from Shea punting it long, almost. It's like a long ball forward, which then lands to eventually then Longstaff, and then it's just straight in. I can't get sick of watching that. It is classic football. I mean, that's just brilliant. Like
the header's really good as well.
It's unbelievable.
Not especially good in the air, but for a boy 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", and he gets up and he puts it in at a top.
It's unbelievable.
But he mentioned it after the game. He's like, he says, I don't score many headers. If Gordon wants to put that sort of cross in every single week, I'll score a lot more headers.
Well, I remember I'm scoring one against Fulham at home, and I always remember on the documentary, especially they've got an unbelievable angle of that goal. It's behind me. Literally, it's amazing view. Bruno crosses it and he scores. And then that one, obviously, it was poetry. Like it was poetry in motion. That goal, like it really. I've just watched it over and over again.
Well, Shearer summed it up on his on the little clips that have been doing the rounds, and I think it was on the TNT coverage, and it was across from the 90s. It was a 90s goal.
He's shouting that in. Cross from the 90s.
I seen the one he put Ian Wright in the wheelchair earlier.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Ian Wright's like, fuck off.
It was incredible, and it's funny because you don't see it often, do you? In football,
never.
Loads now, not loads.
You know, I know Gabriel didn't. What was amazing is because he didn't take a touch, it didn't give the Arsenal defense time to set. You know, like obviously there would have been goal side then, and maybe a bit different because he took it early. Gabriel's like, I've never seen a cross come from here before. Like, you know, he's literally like just so used to taking a touch, coming inside.
He's saying, I've got no idea. I've never seen this cross come in. I have no idea where the striker is behind us at this point.
That's why Isak does well. He just puts himself between the two defenders.
Yeah.
So nobody's picking him up and pinpoint cross, and he just gets that little flick on it.
It drops perfectly into the 6-yard box, 2/3 of the way to the back post. It's like you can't defend that.
No, you can't. It's an unbelievable ball.
It's a really, really good goal. That
it's amazing.
I know I have already spoken a little bit about Sean Longstaff and his return when Deka was apologising a little bit. But
I hope all of the people in the comments and that moan every single week, and those people that dare to say that.
So I mentioned on when I was doing the starting 11 predictions, I didn't do one for the Arsenal game, but I done one for the Chelsea game, and I mentioned Longstaff should be getting a chance to come back into the team at this point just to see if that can solve certain issues that we've got. I've got pelters in the comments. Most of those comments have been deleted now, mind, from those that I put in because I was replying to every single one of them after the game. But yeah, so Sean Longstaff's quote after the game when he was interviewed, he looks mental in that photo, by the way, doesn't he? He says, some people think I should play, some people think I should be nowhere near it and can't play a 2-yard pass. Whenever I play, you know what you're going to get. for what the manager has done for me, I'll always be a good teammate. I'll always be good around his dressing room, whether I'm playing or not. I try and enjoy every moment. Every time I get to play at St. James's, I'll never take it for granted.
Fantastic.
I wish he'd scored.
Absolutely fantastic.
That one that was just loud against Chelsea because it was his birthday as well. That would have been.
Yeah.
He's a good lad, Sean. I like him a lot. Me like
it does, and he gets an unfair. I mean, we sat here a couple of weeks ago, and even the comments, people watching along, it was very, very split down the middle, 50-50 between does Sean Longstaff get away with things because he's a local boy, or does he get extra stick because he's a local boy? I've never known anybody that. There's been players that have divided the fan base. There's probably 2 or 3 in this squad that we've touched on a number of times across the last couple of years. It's mental that people can't just appreciate what a player can do. We all can sit here and look at it and know that he's not the greatest midfielder in the world. He's not the most technical. He's not going to be hitting 40-yard passes across the pitch. It's not what his game's about. What he does give us is something different, and is something that other people in the team don't give us. And that's why we're missing when he's not in the team. And it's easy to, to sit here and say it because he's done really well in the last week. But you look at the stats, Dek, I mentioned it earlier. The stats don't lie. When he's in the team, we get results. And it's because, what I've said over the last couple of weeks, and people have said that I've got a love in for him. I don't. I just appreciate what he brings to the team, and it's in the absence of other people doing it. Yes, we can look at Bruno, we can look at Tonali, look at them and say they're brilliant midfielders, but they don't give us the simple things that Sean Longstaff does, of just dropping into space, picking up the ball, mopping things up, being available for a pass. It's very, very simple things, but you need that. You need that in a team for it to be able to work.
I can't really pull my bitch next Monday night.
Well, he's not avoiding.
It is, but if he does have a good game, then a bad game, then you've got to hold your hands up and do that.
Yeah,
we've seen it and been in the situations where
but
he has been poor during it. But
I would say though, I'm not saying knife turns, but like once someone met you, like, yeah, we'll go again. It's all Longstaff's fault. Like, I mean, literally, like, even when we're just trying to talk about the game, it's like, I was a bit like that with Maxi, right? Where someone would say it and I'd be like, yeah, we'll go. But you're sometimes, would you say you're guilty of that? Where if someone has a go at Longstaff, you're straight away over the fence going, excuse me, not Longstaff.
Not Longstaff.
Well, Burn. Maybe Burn.
100%. I'll have Burn's back constantly.
I think, listen, I don't know. I've criticised Longstaff billions of times on here, right? Billions, right? But I will say that sometimes I see us lose a game of football and they'll call him out, where I'd say Bruno's been even worse.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I'd like to say I'm fair in a certain way, that I'm just judging what my eyes see. Whereas some people are totally void of criticism. Bruno's not allowed to be criticised. I don't want to turn this into who should be criticised debate, but like, I do think Longstaff.
Nobody's beyond that. Nobody's beyond it.
No, absolutely not. Because if you're watching him in football and someone's not playing well, he's not playing well, is he?
And we said that very point when you're away, Decker, talking about Bruno, because he has been poor in a lot of games, but he gets away with it. And because he's got the captaincy, because he's Bruno.
He's had a good week.
I think, but I think him coming out of the team in midweek might have just been tactical to give a rest, because you'd expect a lot of changes in the midfield anyway, and probably throughout it. But it just allowed things to change, and I think because Howe made those changes in midweek and it worked very, very well, it made it a very simple and easy decision for him at the weekend to retain some of the changes that he did make. I was surprised. I'm surprised Tonali did drop out at the weekend, as probably a lot of people did. But again, it's probably just because of the expectation that Bruno has to come back in, because it's a league game. I do. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, before we move on from Longstaff, Matty's in the comments saying I need to read his text out, which he sent us on Saturday. He probably sent everybody. Did he send you it as well? He normally sends you a message at the same time as me.
He was messaging me about Longstaff.
Of course he was, but he wants everybody else to hear this. Did he not message you?
No. I thought we had a thing as well.
So he messaged over saying, this was, what time was it? Just before 4:00 on Saturday. He says, mental how Newcastle haven't won in their last 5 league games, and coincidentally, Sean Longstaff didn't start any of those games. But then he comes into the starting lineup against Arsenal. We win, not to mention starting against Chelsea 3 days previous and winning the cup. Winning in the
We won the
cup. Not yet.
I missed that.
If Longstaff is starting the next ones, we will. Almost like he isn't one of the worst players in the squad, like people keep telling me.
Well, no, listen, it's absolutely true. No, it's absolutely factual. That because again, the people that slag him off saying when we lose a game of football, it's his fault. Isn't it? People are probably going, well, you say it. But people do pin it on him when we lose a game of football.
Yeah.
Them don't come round and go, well, hang on a second.
Scapegoat thing, don't we?
We've won 2 in a row when he's on the pitch, and we lost 5 when he wasn't. Nobody's going to come and say, well, a lot of money. But other people don't come and say that. Do you know what I mean? And
there's one of the comments I got on
the
the match reaction podcast, which we did. One of the comments was saying, you can't just put all the praise on Longstaff just because he's back in it. I said, well, we're not doing that, but we're just trying to say that
call him out.
He hasn't been playing the last X amount of games. We haven't won, and he's came in. So surely that's showing you something that he's contributing towards it.
He's just
texting. Might just text you now.
Hasn't texted me.
But no, it's
in the comments.
Nobody is saying that the only reason that we've won those 2 games is because Sean Longstaff's playing. He's just contributed to it.
What do you mean? Hang on, Longstaff passed the ball to himself. He crossed it and he scored.
I mean,
that was all Longstaff, wasn't it?
Well done, Sean.
Does it make you a little not emotional, but like when I saw that interview and I read the quote from the interview, I thought, oh, bless him, man. He shouldn't have to say this. Like,
no, but it just goes to prove that he sees exactly what the fan base is about, and that whole divide that is out there between. I'm not going to say pro Longstaff because that sounds like
no. Well, that's what it is at the end of the day. That's what it is.
In support of him versus those. I bet there's people that have seen him coming in and are loath about it and thinking, oh God, I wish he hadn't have came in and won that game, because
you're right.
It's almost like they would rather him and play him work upbeat just to go, oh look, Longstaff.
That's what you were like with Maxi.
I was always happy when he played well.
You were never happy.
If he played well,
I was sat down for years and you didn't once celebrate Maxi.
No, but
assist or goal.
I'm not going to say you, Mark. I'm joking.
Mark is racist, though.
But
how dare you?
It was like that though, where got to the stage where no matter what, they were almost hoping we got beat. But I do agree partly with that. I do want to mention the midweek because obviously I was away. Yeah. I watched it though. I'm not saying this is a problem necessarily, but Tonali was incredible, but he played in the middle.
Chelsea.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He took Bruno's role, didn't he?
He was excellent. Yeah, he was really good.
And it's not a worry. It's fantastic that Tonali played well, but it's a difficulty when you're playing really well in his position, right? Because when he plays to the right, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
He's trying to play him to the left. It doesn't work either. And I have a problem there that maybe like
it's either or.
I think it is. I think we've not been saying this.
It was kind of
all season. Well, since Tonali came back.
Towards the start of last season, people were saying it as well, that they don't work particularly well
together. They had a great game against Villa, wasn't it?
The first game of the season.
Yeah.
I would like to think
we're going back
years.
I mean, I appreciate, obviously, he's been banned for half of it, for all that time, but I kind of feel you've got to play 2 of them as the sort of the anchors in midfield.
That's how it would work.
Allow Willock, for example, to be the one that, because you play tonight to the right, I don't think he knows what he's doing, personally. I don't. He played him to the left, look even worse when he's played there. And that's not his fault because it's not his position. But it's ironic, isn't it?
Exactly where he plays for Italy, though.
What, on the left?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't look good for us then. But you put him in the middle and he looked tremendous on Wednesday. And I thought, wow,
he was really good.
Wow, he looks great. And to be fair, of course, that helps because he's getting more games, getting more time. I do get that as well. But I also wanted to kind of full circle this one. Bruno came on against Chelsea. Yep. He looked class.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, God, this looks like the old Bruno. Saturday he was amazing. Now, I'm not saying he's sitting there going, hang on a second, who's this Italian bloke that's taking my job here? Because but do
you not think there is something in that? Though?
Well,
like
maybe there is.
Giving him a kick up the arse because he has, as we've just sat and have done over the last few weeks, his performance haven't been at the level that he is capable of delivering. And is there a bit of it because his position is deemed to be so safe? Even more so with being given the captaincy.
But like I was saying that Bruno came against Chelsea and put in a shift. But Tonali came on against Arsenal, put in a shift as well. So the both contributing.
That's why sometimes you need that element of competition to push each other forward. We're seeing it with Isak and Wilson last season. Mm-hmm. We're not seeing it currently because Isak is very much the only striker. We've now got Asulu now kind of Asula. Breathing down his neck.
I love him. I love him.
Of course he does.
I love him.
I love him. I'm excited.
He's done now. I love him.
I'm excited about where
I'm looking forward to seeing
where
what he does.
can go.
He's going to be good.
So you do need that. You need that competition for places, and whether he's rested, whether he's dropped in midweek, it maybe just give him a little bit of a jolt to say, right, I'm now back on that pitch. I've got to go out and.
Well, it's a big question for Eddie Howe coming up, because if like you say, if we're seeing rested, if we're seeing drop, whichever one you're going to go with, let's say rested. We don't have a game until the weekend. We don't have a game until Sunday. Is it that we'll play Forest? It's 2 o'clock
Sunday, and then we've got a 2-week break.
So coming up for that Forest game on Sunday, you can't rest a player because nobody needs rested. So whoever doesn't start is being dropped.
I think you'll probably go, if there's no injuries picked up in the week.
That's what the word will change the rotation, won't it?
You'll go with that same 11.
You've kind of got to. You've kind of got to, yeah.
And you, again, we probably expected changes in midweek because it's the cup, but it was tempered by the fact that Gordon had a bit of a knock, and he obviously missed the game at the weekend before. But then surprisingly, he was in the team, where you would have maybe thought that Bonds would have been the one that started. But
then you can even argue the likes of Kelly had a fantastic game against.
He was very good
against Chelsea, and I was one thing, and I wouldn't be shocked to see Kelly come in instead of Byrne, because you know my thoughts on Byrne. I don't think he's as good as what Mark makes out.
I'm sure you said he was the player of the season a couple of weeks ago.
I wouldn't have said that. Not a chance. Said he might be
in the comments. In the comments, I'm sure Kris said that a few weeks ago.
I wouldn't have said that. But I'm true though. I'm not one of these that hate Dan Byrne. Like my Adam hates him.
Ridiculously.
I just appreciate it.
It's absurd that. Like
I don't think he's any better.
I get wound up by that.
I think he's great.
But then I thought, because how well Kelly did, I wouldn't have been shocked to see Kelly coming in instead of Dan Byrne. But I think Dan Byrne got the start because of how dominant Arsenal can be, because we've got some big lads from set pieces as well. So that probably was a no-brainer. But it just looks at that squad now, which we're looking at, and it was only start of the season. I think the bench isn't great here, like.
Yeah, but again, that was injuries and suspensions. Once we started getting into the season, and we're getting, like, Joe Willock was coming back from fitness and stuff like that, it started to look a bit stronger, because we had quite a few. Because God, but then saying that at the weekend we had 2 keepers on the bench again, because we were back down on numbers. So
I think that's just so Nick Pope's got really got competition on places to keep him.
God, there was times, mind you, when he got the ball, like passing, he looked like RoboCop, like actual RoboCop trying to turn. There was one way he turned onto his left foot. It was like a bus, man.
Yeah,
it was like a bus.
He tried to dribble it, and I think his brain just stopped.
Everything just froze, didn't it? I was like, what's happening here?
I don't mind that. He's so good at the other stuff.
No, I know. It's just, how can a man be so unflexible? Like he cannot walk. He's like a great Carly or something.
But you know what? So at that moment,
I don't agree with what Mark's going to say here.
I'll tell you why this happened. Right?
No, that's not why it happened.
You know for a fact it is.
I know, right?
You know what happened.
It's like he needs oil.
Carry on.
It's like he needs oil.
So the ball comes back to him, and there was a collective intake of breath in the stadium.
What's that makes him stiff?
Wait, just as the ball gets to him, it's like, oh, like the whole ground just went like that, and you just seen him then.
That's not why he's crumbling. The fans are making that noise because he's crumbled doing that in the past.
He hasn't crumbled. Look, we know he's not great.
He got the ball and everybody went,
great with his feet.
Did they really make a noise? I wasn't there.
Honestly.
I'm surprised
he knows because it happened.
No, it did happen, but I don't think that's the reason.
But it happened as the ball's going back to him. It was almost like people are preempting.
No, it didn't.
He's going to cock up, and he's going to.
You've got this wrong
straight away.
The ball
putting him in under pressure.
The noise doesn't happen when the ball's on its way to it. The ball happens. What Deka said, when he stops it and he tries to pass it to his left foot, and his body just shuts down. He goes,
he does.
Then he's getting closed down by the striker, and that's when everybody goes, like that.
God, he
100%.
You know, when you 3 minutes of people being, and then he passed the ball absolutely fine.
It was unbelievable. Like,
it's crazy.
That's what.
No, it is crazy because he's like a tin man or something. Like I cannot understand how a human can't turn better than that. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
But if you've got 50,000...
No, man, that's not the reason for it.
It's
not. So what about the away games?
I'm talking about that moment. I'm talking about that moment. And you knew exactly what I was going to say because it happened.
It did happen.
The thing I would kind of qualify what Deka said there about a man... when you're used to watching like blokes in their 20s and they're supple and they're agile and they're flexible, watching Anthony Gordon, watching Joe Willock, watching like Kai Havertz for Arsenal, Bukayo Saka, when they can turn like that. I remember watching Steve Harper play up front in a pre-season game against was it Celtic? I mean, 2007, and he looked like a goalkeeper playing up front. Like he's just a keeper. He's a big. He's not made for that. He's like 6'4", 6'5".
I'm not asking Pope to play up front either, though.
No, but I think
just to control a ball.
When you're comparing Nick Pope and he's saying he looks like a 10 man, when you're comparing what his body movement's going to be like, he's not a ball playing goalkeeper. Never has been really.
I get it.
You're also forgetting that he had to stand still in that goal for hours because he'd had nothing to do all game.
The weather's changing as well, isn't it?
It's getting a bit colder.
Dark nights and that.
I'll tell you what. Mine, I was at the fireworks last night in a pair of shorts. Like it was roasting down there last night.
Yeah,
It was mild yesterday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shall we get some questions in?
Let's do it.
Is there anything that you want to ask before we'll move on to the questions? Actually, people listening,
War Flags
or
display was very good.
Yeah, I've already put on a comment. Yeah, Remembrance Day.
Fantastic.
I'm glad we had somebody that could
play the
actually
trumpet.
play the bugle this year.
Yeah, I'll put last year.
it was dodgy last year.
Last year,
What about,
best.
We still can't follow simple instructions of having a minute's silence.
Nah. What's that about? Listen to the bloke that's telling you what to do.
To be fair, most of that comes from the concourse when people haven't realised most of that noise. It wasn't too
No,
bad.
no, it
wasn't
was.
too bad.
We had the last post play last summer. Last summer. And then the referee blows his whistle and everybody just starts cheering and doing the roar instead of starting the minute silence.
Why don't we just swap it though? It's never going to stick. Just swap it.
But
Also, while I'm here,
the
right?
commentator, not the commentator, the PA guy made a big point of saying this is exactly how it's going to work, what will happen, yet people still can't listen.
What we do need to talk about, just as you mentioned before kickoff, is Bruno once again can't win a coin toss.
Oh God,
he just can't win one.
It's ridiculous.
Like, is he all right? Is he doing all?
I was
Is the
amazed
referee
when we
conning
actually
him?
kicked the right way on Wednesday night. It was like a novelty.
It's because he wasn't on the field, so he didn't have to do the coin toss.
Since he's getting that captain's armband, isn't it? That's what it is. You can't win a coin toss.
It's mental, absolutely mental.
That's reason enough to take the captaincy
I
off him.
think so. Yeah.
Just while we're waiting for people's questions to come in, so send them in as soon as possible. I want to mention Callum Wilson. So Eddie Howe said in his press conference that he doesn't actually have a physical injury. His body doesn't feel right. Which we've heard this before, lads, haven't we?
Technically stood there giving him a squeeze going.
What did I tell you? The lads,
Michael Owen, wasn't it?
the lads.
We heard this last.
Yeah, it was actually. Did I say the lads were in his box and he was sitting with them and that? And
Yeah.
He was saying to all them, "Oh, I've been fine for weeks. I'm ready to go. Can't wait to come back." Like Potter giving it the biggin, and then the following game was like, "Oh, he's not playing again." And I was like, "Eh." He's sitting there with his top off and that going, "I'm ready to go now."
Does it annoy you a little bit? That I'm not saying he's lying about his injury. I'm not doing that. But do you not think if there was a potential, well, let's say if there was a
Here he comes
potential,
with his negativity.
no, let's say there's a potential opportunity for him to play for England, he's on that field, 100%.
Yeah, you will, because if there's something that
Like how it?
Sounds like me.
you put that in the same situation where Owen that you mentioned, where you got to the last two games of the season and him saying he's not fit is in that kind of camp where the reason he's not fit is because he's not willing to push his body and perhaps injure himself again and be out for a longer period of time and then miss the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Callum Wilson in that situation, whereas if he was, looking to go to the Euros, so if that happened at the end of the season, then, you're then looking at, well, he probably would push himself. But I'm not looking at it in that because I'd rather he didn't push himself at this point, because if he pushed himself and then gets an injury, what's to say he's not going to miss another 3 or 4 months? Whereas missing 1 week, having a 2-week gap, is he going to then come back fit and be able to play through?
So did you just read Eddie Howe's comments as no malice in it whatsoever?
No,
well,
because
not necessarily
I think
malice, but not he didn't stir the pot a little bit.
Because I think you can not have a physical injury, i.e., a tear in your hamstring, or
just run that off anyway,
something like that, where you physically got an injury. He's had an injury. The injury's repaired itself, but his body, he doesn't have the acceleration or the turn because he's.
Was that not fitness?
But
that's not what Eddie Howe said.
No, well, I think
He hasn't
The
got the
fitness
confidence
is
in
more
his body,
being
has he?
able to
Yeah.
last on the pitch, isn't it? It's confidence in his body.
that's
I mean,
why
neither would
everybody
I
was
if I was Wilson either, by the way.
Exactly. Your leg might fall off. But that's what everybody was criticising Michael Owen for.
But that's because it was the last 2 games of the season, and the reason he didn't want to push his body was because he was leaving.
Yeah, I think
Callum Wilson isn't going to be leaving us in October, is he? No, well, November now.
But can we not argue that the case where Isaacs came back and Isaacs is playing every single game? So he's not running the risk of picking up another injury, because we know he has been quite injury prone since he came along.
Isaac missed 2 games the last couple of weeks ago because he had a slight feeling in his body. It's the same thing.
No.
I think you're just reading a lot into it because...
Do you know that I think what's done it? I think because Eddie Howe in the summer was quite... When he was doing some interviews, when obviously the rival of Mitchell came in, he was dropping little bombs in his likes of conferences, and I thought, has he done it again with Wilson?
No, and see why you would think that, or could perceive it in that way. But I just look at it more of, and I think even Howe made reference to the fact that we have got the international break coming up, and I would probably err on that side of caution of wanting to not push him if it's going to result in him being out. Because we've done it a lot.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of the comment that just came in saying Isaac had a broken toe, not a slight feeling. Which he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. It's a difficult one because if Wilson declares himself fit and says I'm available, and he comes off the bench and then pulls the arm and he's out for another 10 weeks or something, everyone's going, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
We did that with Botman last season. We did it with Willock last season.
Yeah. I suppose really, by the sounds of it, how in the club would have to think he is fit. He's saying there's no injury, but obviously Wilson thinks that there's something wrong.
I'd be interested to see if he's
ultimately
training.
There's
like what sort of training he's doing. If he's actually out there training.
Yeah, on the grass, as the saying is.
Yeah.
I think
has he been in the club?
YouTube
stuff?
Oh, I don't know about that. Sorry.
I can't remember having seen him.
I kind of think is he not just in the gym?
That's the pictures I've
seen him in a picture. I can't remember. I've certainly seen him wearing this season's training kit.
Yeah,
and he hasn't played a game yet this season, so he's at some point he has been definitely.
Yeah, I've seen him more in the gym sort of pictures. I've seen him like he runs.
When the Callum Wilson, when Anthony Gordon signed his contract, they had the video and he's in that because
he's at the back. Yeah,
he touches Gordon's six pack.
That's right. Yeah. But again, that's all indoors. There was not. I kind of think that I've seen him out on the
grass.
On the grass.
I think ultimately though, the whole thing still paints the picture of we need him gone. I'm sorry, but we need to...
Do you think that is the next move now?
Oh, well, if anyone will take him, like, I mean, who on earth would want to take him? Why would you? You're just footing a bill there, really.
Apparently, he's currently away in, as we've been in Dubai, is he? At a FA Fitness Centre.
United Arab Emirates.
Well, hopefully they're giving him a new one of Pope's robotic legs or something. Or something to get him fit. I don't know, but anything will do, really.
He's moved on to Pope this week because he can't slag Longstaff off.
Do you know what
Murphy hasn't been playing.
He's just going to have a go at Catholics.
Matty put a comment in the chat before saying that because of Pope's lack of ability to kick a ball or control a ball, it's never really led to a goal, which it hasn't. But it's still funny to watch, isn't it?
Oh, anyway, of course. I mean, there was, I'm sure. There was one when he got away with it, but he did pass it straight to a different player. But nothing happened of it. I give you that. The only time he's ever done one mistake was Liverpool at home, got sent off, missed a cup final. It's the only time where really, I still say, and I've said this all the time, I think he did it on Saturday. Amazing at being able to read the play, run out and head of the ball away.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brilliant at that, brilliant. And I still say it, and I said this about when Dubravka was in goal. Dubravka never would do that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your defence are dropping 5 yards, maybe 10 yards deep.
We saw that last season when he had to play a lot.
A lot of times we saw that last season.
Yeah.
Now Pope is really good at it.
Fantastic.
He reads to fight the ball great.
Fantastic,
really well.
Yeah. And it was the one time, bless him, he didn't.
Honestly,
the
kicking's probably the only thing I would say. A couple of times he got caught under the ball as well. And he's flapped a couple of times at the weekend. I think that header, the one that eventually Hall. I think that was one of those ones.
Yeah.
But
he has been punching it a hell of a lot the last few weeks.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it so much.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't mind it in
fine. He's connecting
when it's fine doing it, but there's some times where he's either not connecting or you think he probably could catch that and stuff like that. I'm just not sure whether or not he's still thinking about that shoulder or whether there's something not quite right there because he just a lot of his decisions seem to be to punch at the minute.
What game was it when Burns scored no goal? It went down as his goal. It was one of the worst I've ever seen, man. He tried to spoon it away. Was it Tottenham? We did win the game, I think. Anyway,
I can't remember off the top of my head.
was it Spurs when? No, it
it's
wasn't
when
actually.
He like
I think
parried
it
it,
was
didn't he?
Spurs.
Was it Spurs?
home,
And then
last
Where he,
season?
like, no, this season.
no, this
where he-
season he like
It's like where he tries to
chucked
scoop
it like,
like,
and then
yeah.
Burn kind of
Spurs,
get his
it is
feet
Spurs
right,
at home.
blast it in the net.
Yeah.
That was another one that was really.
That was
Listen,
the
I'm
way
not digging Pope out.
I was at the back post, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Tottenham,
Right, let's go through some questions. There has been a request for Dan that says, "Can we get a Dr. Mark section for injury updates every week, please?"
Came in a white coat.
Remember the groin? Where you just get your groins here.
Rubbing his ankle.
Completely from
No,
your
because
body.
he was out his groin, but he was rubbing his thigh.
You're on camera there, don't rub too much.
Steady on, like,
Right. First question. It is about Nick Pope. We'll have just touched on it, but let's.
I'm
hope.
going to see the other Pope
Yeah.
next week.
All right.
I reckon he'll move quicker than our
The
Pope.
other
Get a blessing for his legs or something.
Yeah.
So Toon Crier says, "Evening all. Question for later: why the feck does Nick Pope keep punching the bloody ball?"
What have I just said?
Yeah.
There's got to be something in it because it just.
It's just there normally.
Is it a new thing? It's definitely a new thing for him, isn't
He's
it?
very much the last few weeks. Don't encourage him. Definitely the last few weeks, it's been a lot more noticeable that he's doing it. There's absolutely a time and a place for it, and there's quite a few of them where he does come.
Time and
And
he's just in his front room.
No, I mean like
Nick, I've
depending
told you, man, you're on the
depending on
pitch.
how the delivery comes in, whether
Wait
or
with the
not
kids
there's
down.
whether there's a host of people in front of him that he's trying to
his
get over the top of and stuff like that. But steady on. But yeah, he just does seem to be doing it more and more at the minute, where there doesn't seem to be a need to, where he's got time to catch it, or you perceive that he should be able to get both hands on it.
There's times in the last few games where he has brought a ball in as well, though. From he's taken it across and just caught it and gone down, and it's fine.
There was a big cherry against Chelsea, was it not, when he got one later on in the game and went down?
He did it towards the end against Arsenal. I don't.
Well,
mind
he
it.
got a free kick right at the death, didn't it? And he came up and took
Claimed
it.
it, hit the deck, and then the referee decided a bit more injury time. Actually, it
Another 40 seconds.
was. He definitely has been punching it a bit more recently. I think.
It could be linked with a shoulder, right?
It might be
Because obviously, if you're catching it and falling down on the ground,
it might be something
it could
to do with
be.
that.
It could
I
be, yeah.
don't hate it. I don't. If he's not too, if you miss a punch, it's probably going to cause less, or you don't catch the punch brilliantly. It's probably not going to be as bad a thing as trying to get the ball, stop it, and then just drop it. So if he's not confident in catching it, for the time being, just punch it.
As long as he gets decent connection.
I'm not a fan of punching. I have to say, I'm not like.
It doesn't bother us. I think if you're getting the ball clear, getting outside the box, getting it away towards the far side or something, your defense, you're putting a defense in between the ball and the goal again. So
there is no better than when your goalkeeper comes and claims.
It's nice, isn't it? When it hit,
and
especially the diamonds.
You normally see the defenders going, "You're absolute man."
And the height of him, I mean, he's already head and shoulders above the everybody else on that pitch. So with a jump, and his arms up, he should be able to claim that ball.
Well, it's more of the bodies in front of you that prevent you from.
And that's why I can see it. Like particularly the way Arsenal were approaching their corners and set pieces at the weekend. They were massively overloading just in the way, like in a little huddle at the back post.
I'm pointing out there's like 5 of them.
Would
just
make a
hovering,
run.
And they've got a very good set piece of best in the league.
Very good, really good.
So it was amazing that we were managing them as well as we did, I thought.
No, I don't mind that. If it didn't, it's working. He's doing it. He did it against Chelsea last week, midweek. He did it against Arsenal on the weekend and won both games.
I suppose we've kept 2 clean sheets there.
Arsenal didn't have
Let's not complain when it's not broken.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's working.
Let's go through a couple more questions. So the next one,
when Kris Wood scores on Saturday afternoon.
So NUFC UK says, "What stage of the Joe Willock circle are we in?" So he goes on to say, in brackets, plays well,
give him the Ballon d'Or,
scores, tip for England, gets injured, comes back, gets injured again, and repeat.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I hope it's a bit of a longer cycle this time around, because he is playing really well.
It is rinse and repeat every season, though, isn't it?
Last couple of games he's been excellent. We've got to come on the Maggies off him as well.
We did. That was nice.
I love that.
Nice little special moment at full time as well, Bessie. You might not have seen this because I might not have showed it on TV. But when the lads are doing the lap around the field, around the pitch at St. James Park, there was a young lad in the East Stand with a Willock shirt on. He picks him up, takes him over the barriers, and continues the walk with the rest of the lads with this kid. gets to obviously where the dugouts are, picks them back up and takes them back to his family as well. Which is
they gave me a shirt as well, didn't he?
No, I don't think he gave me a shirt.
No, I thought he handed me
Bruno gave me
shirt
shirts to a kid, but yeah, Willock obviously takes him for a little and poise him back in.
Seem like good lads.
It was great, really nice touch.
Really like Joe Willock as well. Like given that we signed him twice in 2 summers, or 2 winters as it was. And he listening to Sean Longstaff on the Lineker Shearer podcast a few weeks ago. He says Joe Willock's like an unsung. He's like really, really badly underrated at Newcastle. Not at Newcastle, but by people who have perceptions of the players and stuff. Willock's brilliant. I love me. I'm so happy to see him kind of hitting a bit of form, getting back in the team and stuff, and hopefully staying fit for a while because he's.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Because he beat the last, and it's only been a week. It's 2 games. Mind 2 games against Chelsea and Arsenal. You know, the flip side of saying it's only a week and all that is it's against 2 teams that
in 2 intense games as well because the press has been back.
But like,
the thing is, Willock, he runs. I love how he runs. He's not any player that runs beyond. He runs beyond Isak. Yeah. The amount when Willock's not on, where you do cry a bit and go, Isak's isolated again. Yeah. Willock links that up really, really well.
He's that good relationship.
Really well, yeah.
But yeah, like Chelsea and Arsenal, it used to be very recently that we had beat those 2 maybe over the course of the season. You go, that went well. That we've beaten both in the week and deserve to win both games. So it's like, I think it's.
Do you have the feeling of like, because I have this, especially at home. It's been 2 home games. We're a different beast at home. I think as a team, but we do turn up against opposition. You know, when we need to turn up, but that makes sense. It's Chelsea at home. It's also
big team. Man
City.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and it's when we've got Everton away, and when we've got Forest. No offense to Forest, I know they're flying now, but I'm trying to be respectful as I can.
I thought we played really well at Goodison as well, but we just couldn't put the ball in the net.
Yeah,
you think that chance that Bruno had that could clear off the line? Obviously, Gordon's penalty, one in the second half, and put over the top.
I suppose the Brighton game again created an awful lot of chances, just couldn't take.
Couldn't put the ball away.
But again, it comes back to that point of we play well against teams that are coming in and having a go. That open up and allow us to get at them.
Teams
that we struggle against is those that we can't break down.
It took a hell of a goal to win on Saturday. Like, do you know what I mean? 1 goal.
But I think you even said that though, Deka. I think we did pick and choose moments when we went forward, and when we did it, I thought we did it well.
On Saturday evening.
On Saturday. Then I think there was certain moments in the game later on where you're thinking, right, you're questioning decisions some players have made in regards to which pass they're putting in. Because there's a couple of times where you're looking at playing like some Isak or whoever, and they've gone the other option, and you're thinking, right, we could have nicked another one, Oh,
so you may feel they're just trying to play safe type of thing, rather than go for the juggler type of thing.
Exactly that. Yeah.
I thought he might have brought a Sula on, by the way, if Isak as time went on.
I think, a game like that might be the wrong. You might get
I just think he's so aggressive. He's so fast, so aggressive.
Once the ball constantly as well.
He was mint against Chelsea
when he hit the post on Chelsea.
Shades of Mbappe when he got
a lovely little move that as well.
Unbelievable.
That might be the best assist I've ever had. It came off.
Right here, I know what this is something I noticed during that
game. Go on,
Right, you get players like so. Maximum was an example of it. We've had players like who like they're all footwork and kind of fast, get past the player. Fabian Schär to beat a player, all he's got to do is open his body up, and he's gone. He does nothing else. Every time he'll no. And you get like world class midfielders going,
it's because people don't expect a centre back to do that to them.
There's no tricks. It's just he's gone. Unbelievable.
It's like a reincarnated BRG Shuffle. It's a bit of a
because Kraft reminded us a little bit of that on the thing at Chelsea when he made that chance for Sula, where he's picked up and gone like.
Kraft had a very good game as well.
He was great. He was fullback. Played right back. He was really good.
He was class.
He was excellent. Another one I just like.
There's a couple more questions. I'm going to quickly fire through them. So Liam sends in. He says, "Question: any non-obvious player from the past that would enhance our current team?"
It's
hard to think outside the box.
I've seen over your shoulder. I've seen an example he gives that's really good.
Yeah, so
David Batty.
So do you want to read what he said?
So Liam Knowles at 6:56 sent this in. His proposal
6:56.
His example is Craig Bellamy says the press, speed, the finishing. In fact, he was a shit house as well.
Bellamy was mint.
Bellamy was great.
I loved him.
Bellamy is a shout.
One of my favorite players.
I tell you, he was a shout as well. I think you could play on the right hand side. Kieran Dyer when he was fit.
That was unreal.
Because he was fast. He was like a shit house as well, but he scored goals.
He was a great player.
He couldn't cross a ball though.
You did me after these. I appreciate what
scored as well. But he played with inverted wingers more than not now. So
he was a right winger. He wouldn't play there.
I mean,
imagine we still had Nobby Solano on that right hand side.
He was there the weekend, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
Right, final question.
Is a really good shout. Sorry, Chris.
David
David Batty's a
Batty.
really good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, Peter Beardsley in there. Like to be quite honest.
Oh,
Like,
He's kind of obvious though, isn't he?
best player.
He's
100%. Yeah,
He's
he's
Still the
obvious
best
shout,
I've ever
yeah.
seen. For
He'd be my obvious one.
I was
Peter
going
was
to
the
say
man.
like Santon or something. I put buffalo
Yeah,
back.
no.
Minute with
No.
centre halves playing
But there was
well.
loads of people who used to slag Santon off week after week.
He bottled that one in the derby. I remember when Johnson scored. It was a 50-50 in the 60-yard box. And he went, I just have it, mate. Goal. I was like, that's it. Out.
Who's that?
Santon.
All right.
If you watch
okay.
it back,
Chris Wood.
Could have been worse. Could have been Chris Stoney.
Chris
Wood.
Chris Wood. Right, final question. It's for you, Deka, and actually we've not discussed this. It's from Jules, and she says, "Has Deka been in the new club shop yet?"
Do you know? I haven't. No, I
Have you
haven't
actually
been.
not?
I haven't been to work yet. I've never been up Newcastle, so I've never. No, I've never been. I'm gonna go maybe Wednesday to work, and I'll have a look.
Has anyone been in yet? What did
I've
you go in
been
at the weekend?
Yeah, I went in the other day.
You're literally wearing something that you bought from there.
I did, yeah. So I went in.
Actually, does Amy know
It's-
about that? I just
Yeah.
What I would
Shows they
say
wanna
is
play it,
it's very nice when you go in. They've done it well. I was expecting more.
From
given-
what? As in
Given
stock? As
from
in...
where we a bit both. So from where we started
Mhm.
to what we have now,
Mhm.
the length of time that it's taken, and
Yeah.
all of the talk of that it was going to be bigger, better, and all of that kind of thing. I was expecting it to be bigger, as in
And
go
better.
back into
what
the
she said.
stand and stuff like that. They've changed the layout, i.e., when you used to go on the left, you had the tills and then the stairs that went up the back.
That is better.
Like you go in now, there's an entrance. The escalate up and down escalators are now where the one that used to go up was, and they kind of crisscross each other now. So right in the middle.
Have they still got the stairs at the back?
Yes.
Where you come down from the Adam Peaton.
Yeah. So, but when
That
you
hasn't
go
been
in,
finished. That's a dump. That's where they've just put all this shit.
No,
'Cause it was just full of crates.
Oh,
But
so
do
you
you
can't
not-
go
I
down
want-
there then.
do you
can't
not
walk
think
down there,
that's-
then,
Well, I walked down because
Oh, okay.
I want
So
Adam
the-
to do his thing.
so
it's
the
behind
escalator,
like the formation where they've got mannequins in the end.
the escalator we thought was getting moved is still there.
One of them is,
Yeah.
but they've moved the other one so
Yeah.
that they now crisscross each other,
Yeah.
and then that's where the time bridge kind of is above them. It's very nice inside because they've got like a lot of digital displays and kind of like with the badges on and stuff like
They've
that.
got a little
like
section with the
different
shirts around the
sections.
corner.
There's a little kind of museum-y kind
That's
of,
what I mean, yeah, with the
like
match
bit,
worn shirts on it.
which I think is
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
kind of what they did, like, you know, when we're seeing on the documentary when they went Adidas and they went into the archives and
Yes, yes.
stuff
It's
like
got
that.
a few
kind of
programs
that
in like
feeling.
glass cases and
Yeah,
things like that around
signed
that area.
shirts and
But
stuff
when
like
I'm
that. A bit of memorabilia.
when I'm talking about an area, it's like
It's pretty small.
I don't think I could lie in it.
Yeah.
It's
probably-
small.
Well, no, you get kicked out.
So I expect them to have extended the store and made it bigger and probably had a lot more stuff in there that they've got.
So
So,
it's the same footprint, basically.
It looked well.
very much so.
that-
It's ever so
camera thing.
slightly bigger at
It's the
the
same.
like where the back in the day when you used to have the football like boot section on the right.
Mhm.
Like, so it would be down below where the printing was.
That was
There.
a sports direct, wasn't
So
it?
that's like the tills and stuff now.
Was it? Sorry.
But it's just all tills.
Oh,
that
okay.
that whole bit, but that's the only place. And then your printing now is in the middle upstairs, like in a weird circle thing with like four stations on
I
it.
was wondering. Yeah, I think that's
So I think they are better using the space like that, but upstairs is just kits.
I think it was.
That's all there is. And so you've just got 7 million home kits, 7 million away kits, 7 million third kits, and the odd and about 3 keeper tops. And then like, they've got the new range in like that Chris is wearing the t-shirt of and stuff
Well,
like that. So
they've
like
got-
the leisure wear. And
Well,
there's
they don't.
not a lot of it.
They've got some of it. I had to
Yeah.
go hunting for this because it was just thrown in a rack amongst loads of other things. So the likes of the what's that called?
The originals.
originals,
I
yeah.
think there's tracksuit bottoms. That was all that was left. from that.
Jackets. They had the jackets,
Stuff.
I think
which
it's only
all
nickel for.
smalls.
Yeah.
Every single thing was a small. They had loads of the tracksuit bottoms, like because they mustn't be able to shift them. Loads of
I'm
them.
not surprised at 85 quid.
This top which I'm wearing, there was 3 of them in
Yeah.
there.
I went looking because I fancied the hoodie. The
Yeah,
same as
hoodie
that.
was one of them, and I went the day they were released. So I think
What the hoodie? I've got that one.
No,
This-
the one.
there's a
Oh,
version
sorry,
of this.
the
Oh, is it?
t-shirt.
Yeah, there's a version of this.
Yeah, like,
they just didn't have much stock, and the stock that they had was all the tack.
Did you?
Downstairs.
Did
yeah,
you
they've got
go?
loads of that.
Did
So
you?
the stuff that they had in the temporary club shop.
Aye, aye.
before the kit was released.
Yeah.
So anything without a
Any-
brand on
Anything
it.
that's not Adidas,
Yeah.
basically.
So did you go when it first opened?
So
How far you in?
I went on. Oh, what day is it?
It opened on the Wednesday, the cup game.
Thursday.
Chelsea,
I went on
Chelsea.
Halloween.
Oh, so
The day after.
Oh, okay.
Darren still there.
That's annoying then.
Shaking hands. No.
That's,
But even on the
um,
Wednesday, the
yeah,
day it
that's-
opened, when we played Chelsea, they didn't have it. And it's probably there's a it's mad that we're saying this because we all said, oh, but once we get Adidas, we'll not have any of these problems. But there seems to be a real lack of stock. And even when you look online at the club shop store and even Adidas Direct, there's a real shortage of stock
Everywhere.
across stuff. So,
well, it creates. It's like Apple used to do it. It creates demand. It creates conversation. It's like sometimes being out of stock to the consumer is not good, but it's almost good. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If they release loads of like original stuff again before Christmas, it'll be gone.
That's what I mean. Like
within hours.
And
it
I
sort
think
of creates the like
we'll
shit.
have to
that's back on
remember,
stock,
right?
you know?
It's not back in the 90s, man. A lot of things are just online stock these days. So you'll go in the club
Yeah,
shop and you
yeah.
go, oh, I like the look of that. I'll do it on my size. I'll have to order it online.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was. Well, I haven't been.
but
in
why
yet.
spend all that money on redeveloping the club shop?
I
If
put
that's
it'll-
going to be the case.
Well,
the-
Particularly when you think
It's like a
Darren
showcase,
Eales
isn't
and
it?
stuff had talked about in Silverstone. They talked about when they went to Dortmund, what they seen there, and that they wanted to recreate that. It's nowhere.
There
near
are
those
certain things in
levels.
the club shop where you look and go, oh, that looks decent as to what they've done. But
It looks. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It looks nice, like the digital screens and stuff
Yeah.
like that. The bridge looks fantastic. How they've made it look is very nice.
yeah, it's clean.
And but there's still time to sort the stock and stuff out. You know what I mean? Like I know you're saying.
But you would
Rome
expect for a
wasn't built in a
grand
day.
opening.
No, I get that. I get what you're saying. I get what you're
we
saying.
keep on buying stuff. Everyone's just been buying stuff.
Well, Metro Centre's opening soon as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And
Where's that one going?
I was there the night. So it's
Is it all British Home Stores
in the
one?
middle bit, isn't
no,
it?
it's
Upstairs in
not.
the
It's
where. Do you know where the Castor shop was?
Yeah.
Down.
Is that gone now?
Back down from there, isn't it?
it's not there. Nowhere
I
near
was
there.
going to say that.
It's,
That'll be tiny, that one.
do you know where Waterstones is?
Yeah.
It's basically across from there
Okay.
Are they doing
on the
put one in
corner on
city
the
centre
bend
as well?
I
somewhere?
think, isn't it?
Above
No,
Disney.
I've seen
Disney was it Disney store that was in JD? Where
No.
Well, it's great, but-
So come back down into
I went past
where
it twice a night as well.
not John Lewis, House of Fraser,
I thought it was
used
where
to be in
like
the middle,
British Home Stores wasn't that little bit?
down towards Marx's.
I've got no idea. No
It's
idea.
upstairs.
Aye,
Scott reckons it's upstairs next to Primark.
Nah, it's not. No, it's not.
That's the back page.
No,
It's,
that's
it's
the
not.
other way,
It's
innit?
not. It's not the
I've got
Primark.
no idea.
No,
It,
it's not the Primark.
it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. Now people are
you
saying
come-
it used to be H&M. We're just saying throw shops out there
no,
now.
because that's stock
Nah.
black now.
I
No,
don't know.
no,
Don't know.
definitely
That's
not.
the
there.
tattoo shop.
I've been up there for
There's
years,
there's a
man. You mean
couple of a couple of comments coming in. Deka saying that you'll be a lot happier now because there's loads more little bits to buy in there.
That's good.
I
You
don't
can
think
buy
it
a
was that
gnome
much.
now. You can buy a gnome now.
I didn't like Lima. I didn't
The
think it was
gnomes
that
are back.
much. There's key
The
rings.
garden gnome.
Right, yeah.
The garden gnomes are back.
They should listen. The amount of club shops I've been in over time, and club store as well needs to get in the bin. The club shop, I like it when there's things like that to buy. I really
Yeah.
do.
There's a few
Especially,
key rings and stuff
I
like that.
appreciate
Flags.
Like I'm not expecting like every fan to have that,
Yeah.
but like
Trinkets.
trinkets,
Yeah.
yeah, like
I
tourist
think
stuff.
the
you know?
issue is that
Huh.
it's still a small club shop. At
Aye.
the end of the day, it still is.
Well, I was disappointed when I seen the flat. You know, this the drone
drone
thing they had. I was
yeah.
like, bloody hell!
Like,
Like,
the same,
it
didn't
looked
it?
exactly the
I
same
still
to
had
me.
plenty
Like,
of battery left in that drone, didn't it, when it was finished?
like, I was like, that's the same shop.
Do you think they're saving it for when they build a new stadium?
100%.
And that's going to be like an all singing, all dancing.
But why is it taking so many months for them just to basically rip it out and put it back in?
It has been mental how long
pretty much.
that was been.
It
How
feels
it
like
was.
it's, I don't know, Mark. I'm not a shop fitter. I don't know.
Aye, no,
Well, the shop fitting was done in 3 days.
I'm not a structural engineer or an architect. But do you think now I'm moving away from the club shop slightly, if we may? Now this comes from it was the article Craig Hope wrote, where he says Craig Hope wrote, where he said about he thinks that it's right to leave St James's Park now very shortly.
Yeah.
It feels as if, and I put this in the group, journalists feels like maybe it's been getting briefed to say, right, we need to put some kind of
The wind changed a little bit,
I
didn't it?
don't think Hope would do that.
Do you not think? Because a lot of the journalists done it at very similar times.
I just don't think Hope would change with any wind. Like he'll go where he wants to fart. Like
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. But it just feels like there has been a bit of a over the past few weeks,
like a memo's gone out.
a little bit of a kind of a change in direction. Maybe it has been led by circumstances. It's part of his wonders if the club have been saying. Like,
Isn't that? But isn't that not just Mark Douglas and Hope that have came out and said that though?
I think the Athletics kind of implied. I think George and Chris might have wrote a thing that I read that said like it.
I think even Luke
I
was putting a
think
few
it-
things
to
on
Deka's point,
social.
if-
Newcastle as well.
Yeah, yes.
If journalists had been briefed to say will probably need to go towards a new stadium. Hope would go the other way. We know from his stories what he's like.
But I think we know it's all going to happen
unless the
don't we?
club have said, right, Craig, Steve Bruce says that the club should stay. By the way, and I know that we battered Steve Bruce, and rightly so. Nice to see him back managing again. Like, he had some horrible news in it.
Horrendous.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Horrible news.
Absolutely horrendous.
Good luck, Steve.
No, you're right there. You're spot on.
Yeah, no, that was nice. That was horrible, but it's nice to see him back managing.
Yeah. Are we done?
So have you been in the Spurs shop? I think I must say, no, but have you though? Have you been in that club shop?
No.
And have you been in the new Anfield one?
Nope. No. I've never been any. I've been to. No,
I don't support those clubs. Why would I?
I'm not sure why I would go in the club shop.
Well, I just like to see what other people do, right? So I went to Munich's was shite.
You want a bit of a little taste of what you could have.
Actually, no, the Munich one was amazing in the stadium. That was huge. Huge. It was the one in the
Munich's was good because you sent loads of pictures.
It was. Sorry, yes, Munich's was.
Barcelona's was shite when I went there.
Yeah,
Wrexham's wasn't very good. I was there a week.
Wrexham's.
Yeah, but I mean that's.
There's loads of like Deadpool shit in that.
It was really busy, but it was the kit release day.
You
know, they didn't sell footballs because we left out. We'd gone down with the kids and we left out his football at my mate's house, like in Cheshire, and we're going down to Amy's dad. He lives in the middle of Wales. So we'll go to the Wrexham club shop, get a little football. Didn't sell any footballs in Wrexham.
I didn't see any footballs in our club shop.
Huh? Not even a little kind of.
That's stupid.
It was a flying visit, like, but
like the drone.
Yeah.
Even the Guinness shop had footballs. The Guinness store.
I might be wrong, but I didn't see a basket with any footballs in it.
I'm sure I've just got plain one with the badge on.
No idea.
Well, the Spurs shop, I think, is the biggest in Europe. I think now. Oh, I may be wrong there. The guy said something about it anyway, and it was humongous. But them
was
did
the hyper store.
Them did what I like, where it's like they've literally got like oven mitts and that, man. They've got like oven mitts, barbecue tool, you name it, it's got it on.
I remember walking through
just
Munich
amazing, man.
Years ago, and you could just buy like a pack of red balloons with a Bayern Munich badge on it. That's
literally, Spurs have got everything with their logo plastered.
So apparently there are footballs in the club shop in a basket, deflated.
Oh,
yeah, I thought just plain white with the club badge on. I thought there was.
But you can buy this Newcastle.
I bought a basketball from the NBA shop in New York.
You've never pumped it up, are you?
And well, now that deflated for us,
so you
could get on a plane to go home. So
okay. Imagine just walking on a flight with a basketball.
But to your point, Decker, I think that's
dribbling,
having a purpose-built brand new stadium.
No, I agree.
Would allow you to
absolutely
to do that and have that. Kind
I wouldn't be out of there. I'd just work in there, me.
Like
I'd just be sitting there.
I think it's like Besty, as you're just been saying. I was like going back to when the survey came out and stuff like that around asking people's opinions. I was really dead against wanting to leave St James's, and I think the more that I think about the situation and where we go, where we are now with like PSR and all of that kind of thing, that it almost feels inevitable that we have to.
It's going to happen.
And I think that's where the step changes came from the reporters, is the realization that if we, because of everything that's being put in front of us to stop us growing, the only way that we can do it is by looking to generate more revenue. We've already looked within the ground and opened 2 new corporate areas with wings and the one up in the rooftops and stuff like that. There's not much else you can do with regards to bringing in that. I mean, £1,000 a ticket at a time for that. Get a couple of 100 people in there. That's worth a hell of a lot more to the club, obviously, than our 40 quid a game. So it realistically, that's the main place that we can generate that revenue from. And if it's going to cost $1 billion to redevelop St James's and only get a small increase in the number of people that we can get in, and it probably not make that much difference.
I said that this will be it's lifetime changing money. This is it. Yeah. This is one go for maybe the next 300 years.
That was the quote that they made as well, wasn't it? When that it's a generation defining
something like it's a once in a generation.
Yeah, and it is, isn't it? And when you think of it, that's when I took a sit back and I was like, actually, you've got to move.
I really hope if they do it that the keeps St James's and maybe have a women's team playing there.
I agree with that.
A museum there. You could do so. If I still.
Put houses on there.
Fine. Well, it'll be student accommodation going there.
It really pains us, like, because I hate it because my dad took us there.
I'm only coming around to that idea on the provision that it remains in the city centre.
It definitely leaves us part.
That is the key thing. It has to be either the Leazes or the current arena position. It's the only 2 viable places.
The arena's been sold, hasn't it?
The arena's gone to housing.
The arena's been sold for years and years.
Housing has gone to, hasn't it?
Yeah, but
they've owned it for decades now.
Yeah, but they can't knocked the arena down yet because they haven't started building a new one in Gateshead.
No, I've started.
No, they started.
Yeah, it's meant
started ages ago. Yeah,
I'm sure it's meant to be ready next
so
year.
that's when you're the Baltic.
It was meant to be open in November 2020.
It's the same people who do the club shop.
Big tiny.
Probably is. But that, like when you look around, that is the only two places realistically
in the city centre
that you can look at it.
Yeah.
The city,
Well, there's a good
centre.
shout, and I'm going to end it on this, and it's from Il Corvo that says he thinks he'll turn into more green space if we do inherit Lights of Leazes Park.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assume they'll do, because it wouldn't be like for like, because the footprint's going to be bigger in the new stadium. This is all hypothetically, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be the trade-off. Would be give it
Would have to
city,
be.
give it the free.
Yeah,
City,
have to
be.
be.
Yeah.
When makes them change in the park or something in the park, and you can take your bear there and play football now.
Put some cows
on.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be lovely.
But they could do that if they then incorporated it into the green space around the street stadium and made it like a feature of the ground.
Nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be lovely. That
100%. Right, I'm going to end it because we have been going for 1 hour and 20 minutes.
No, that's a long one for us.
Welcome back.
I know. Sorry, I've been away a while. So.
Keep going. Send some more questions.
No, keep them for next week or whenever else we'll do one. Thanks everybody who has joined us live tonight. Just like the video, means a lot to us. Not Besty hates it. Become a subscriber. Costs you nothing to do.
Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. Isn't it true faith and stuff?
Hey,
if you don't leave a like comment, it means you love.
we're cheaper on them as well, by the way. It's only $2.99 a month. Become a member. See you next time. What you do? Ta-ra.